Today's video is all about fasting for your spiritual evolution. And so first, what do I mean by that? Well, if we take spirituality defined as progressing the human spirit, then fasting is one of, if not the most substantial catalysts that one can embark on. I like to fast for 3 different categories of reasons. Let's start with the mind, then body, and finally spirit. Honestly, I like to use fasting as a way to clear all the junk from my body, my mind, and my spirit. Mentally, if there's any clutter, any junk, any procrastination that I've been putting off, then fasting is the #1 way of resolving all those issues once and for all. And the reason is as follows. Let's say you're hungry, then you're in the pursuit of getting food. You're not going to procrastinate getting food. You're going to have a zeroed in focus on nothing but getting a meal before your mouth. And so the same is all those tasks that you have on your whiteboard that have been sitting there for who knows how long. Well, the days that one's fasting, you can dedicate towards completing those tasks because you have extra time. That's the most objective reason why, is you're not spending your time eating and recovering from the digestion process. So I'm one that believes in the idea that if we go through something challenging or difficult or strenuous, then lessons, benefits, and even consequences are translated from that challenge to multiple others across other domains. And I like to think about this in the way of, let's say you're playing a game and you defeat this boss who's equipped with a strong sword. Now, since you beat this boss, you can take that strong sword and go slay other bosses. And the same is true with fasting. If I am able to have the grit and perseverance and endurance to go through time without meals for however long it may be, then what else can I do? Or what else can I not do? If we are overcoming one of the most primal survival-based needs that every living being has, then the world is your oyster. Those that are angry, if they are able to recognize their anger and not project it onto others, then that is where the true gains come. And the same is with hangriness. When you are hangry and you feel that, and you're wearing that on your face, it's in your aura, and yet you choose to be uplifting, positive, and joyous to those around you, then you are reaching into the depths of true inner growth. So let's say you're doing a fast from Thursday night into Friday night. Then what I find to be incredibly important is how we'll sleep Thursday night into Friday morning. We'll wake up, we'll go perhaps around noon is when the feelings of hunger really begin to set in. And from noon until, say, 7 p.m., that is when the going gets tough. And same could be said about anything, any endeavor, any pursuit. Let's say you're building something of value for others, then oftentimes it may feel easy. Things are the very elementary stages. And yet, as you continue on, the going gets more challenging. And yet, as it gets more challenging, you get more strength within to carry on and to pursue the end destination, to the point where it begins to crumble down and you realize the end is in sight and you can finish that last sprint ahead. And that is exactly how one wishes to feel during a fast. You begin to feel the hunger and you kick that to the side. You accept it, you recognize it, you love it for what is going on within your own body. And you carry on. One benefit of fasting is the removal of self-hate, self-talk that's detrimental towards one's goals or towards one's ability to live in harmony with oneself. By sweeping up the dust, the garbage, the clutter that's accumulated and is ultimately ruining one's ability to thrive, you are able to reclaim the power that you hold within. And fasting is the most biological sense of doing just that. Physically speaking, I work with colonoscopies. I see the path that food takes from your mouth until the exit. And having seen what it looks like within, I can understand more fully what the food looks like when it's sitting there. It's not pleasant. When it's been extracted of the nutrients that fuel our livelihood, then the rest that comes out the opposite end, when it's just sitting there clogging your pipes, you really want to get that out of your system. Doing a fast is the complete removal of all that nastiness that you want to get out once and for all. Another physical benefit is that fasting allows us to feel more comfortable in our own skin. And this goes beyond the mental attitude that we have in relation to ourselves. With fasting's physical effects of feeling like all the fat, all the nonsense, all the garbage is removed from my skin and everything that fills the space in between. I'm able to reach that greater feeling of control over all parts of my body. And I mean control beyond the idea of forcing and having a strong grip over the cells that make up my essence. Rather, I live as if, and I feel as if I am one with each and every part of my body. And this feeling comes from feeling content within. When we find that space between resting and digesting and fighting or flighting, then that space is our homeostasis. And there's a reason why that is the state that our minds, bodies, and spirits seek. This is where we flow forward with the least amount of friction in every sense. For me, when I commit myself to a fast, I feel naturally more spiritual in the sense of I'm taking care of myself to allow my human spirits to have the most room for growth, to sprout into the being that I so wish to be. And in doing so, I'm able to feel more connected and more deeply intertwined with the ideas that come within. These ideas are more enriching because, in my eyes and in my heart, they are so powerful in their ability, if fulfilled, to connect me towards the service to others' path. In the sense of, I'm able to more efficiently and effectively collaborate with others and work towards harmonious growth for myself, others, divine, and evolution. And in doing so, I feel states of bliss that otherwise may not have come if I was busy eating and digesting and not fasting overall. Fasting is enjoyable because it implicitly drives my mind to considering life if food was not readily available. This idea, if played out, is so humbling and leads me to be so appreciative of each and every one that's a part of the system in place that society has created to efficiently and effectively allow food to be readily available for myself and for others. And in that same manner, I have jobs that are readily available, that I can work and I can exchange my time and energy and effort in with to receive the funding to be able to purchase the food. I'm paying for the system, and yet that places me one with the system. Overall, fasting allows me to more easily and enjoyably reflect on the system that is in place and comprehend the societal constructs that I'm so deeply entrenched with, as we all are. Alright, now I will briefly cover the idea of a 3-day fast. This is a less regular occurrence, but the implications are exponential. In return, a 3-day fast is more than just 3 one-day fasts in a row. Instead, it is one day of mindsets being developed, oh my gosh, the growth that comes within when reflecting on everything that happens. Oh my gosh, time feels diluted. Time feels diluted and dilated. They help me appreciate, understand, and recognize that oftentimes our timing regularity is so correlated with our meal scheduling that when one is not eating food, it's comparable to one not sleeping, or one becomes delusional with a high for life itself. And yet, our biological nature points us in the direction of favoring life. And yet, if food is a basic necessity of life, then why is it that we feel high off life when we neglect this basic need? And extrapolated to a societal level, does this mean that we feel high off life when trying to break free of the system, trying to find our own truth in this matter, in this world, when nature points us towards such a rigid direction? So my basic takeaway is that we must be one with life itself, with nature itself. We must be in equal parts setting the rules of which we obey, and that we classify as the rules of nature, the laws of nature, etc. We are the ones that determine that food is a basic necessity to life, and we are the only ones of whom can disobey these rules spiritually. When there's no food in the stomach, the breaths feel like they're filling more space. And this allows me to connect more deeply to my breath. And in doing so, I'm able to be more intentional with the energy flow that is one with the breath. And in doing that, I'm able to utilize this energy flow to fuel my crown from the feet upwards to fulfill a toroidal shape. And in doing so, I'm feeling more spiritually connected. I'm feeling more consciously aware of life itself. This has pros and cons. Is it sustainable? Well, perhaps you think not. Of course, fasting cannot be sustainable. And yet here are people doing 50-day fasts, etc. And here we are, barely going 24 hours without food. This is why it's so important to understand the biological side of our actions. What nutrients must we replenish so that we can continue on without food? Let's understand our bodies and how they work. And let's utilize this knowledge for greater self-development so that we can work towards societal development. Beginning within, we are understanding ourselves through technology. We are creating technology to help a purpose that ultimately helps us. As I'm on a 24-hour fast, I honestly have no desire to do a 72-hour. It is replenishing in so many ways, but the way to get there is so depleting within that I'm not ready for that at this time and in this space. I'm going to continue doing regular 24-hour fasts because the effects feel good. Overall, it's important to take breaks from our normal routine in every way. Just as you take vacation from work, take a vacation from your regular eating schedule, perhaps your regular drinking schedule, or workout schedule, or spend time on your phone schedule, etc. Go within, look yourself in the mirror, and recognize that the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. Thank you, thank you, thank you.